let's talk Zero DSRX, which is Zero Motorcycle's top of the line all-electric adventure motorcycle. Now, up until 2022, this motorcycle did not used to look like this. It was just a typical naked street motorcycle. Still all electric, because that's all Zero Motorcycles does, is making electric bikes. But people could get behind that. They were like, okay, fine, it's great. It's electric, it's $10,000 to $12,000. It's great for zipping around town. It's worth a shot. But in 2023, Zero made a big choice, and a controversial one, because they grabbed the DS. First of all, they diversified it into a DS, DSR, and a DSRX with varying range and battery capacities and motor power and all those things. But most importantly, they made it look like an internal combustion engine adventure motorcycle. This bike, I mean, look at it. It looks like the side profile of a Honda Africa Twin or a BMW GS 1250 or a KLR 650 from Kawasaki. But it's electric. Literally, there is no reason for the front of it to be this bulky other than copying the large gas tanks that are on those extended range internal combustion engine motorcycles. This one doesn't have a gas tank. It doesn't have an engine. So why does it need a huge up front like this, other than looking like an adventure bike? And that's when everybody's questions started to pour in. Is it actually a good adventure bike? Can it do the duties of an adventure bike? Can it fall on the ground, pick it back up, duct tape it together and continue riding it? How long does it take to charge it if you plug it into the wall? Questions like that are all legit. And those questions are the ones we're going to answer today. So let's do this. Let's go wheel to wheel and everything in between on this 2023 Zero DSRX and answer those questions, and then get on it, go out there, put this motorcycle to test, and then I'm going to quantify my thoughts and give this motorcycle the Emmy score. As far as storage on this motorcycle goes, it's an adventure bike after all. You need to take things with you places. The most obvious one is obviously these pannier bag holders here. The pannier bags don't come with this motorcycle. You have to spend, I believe, $300 per side to get those from Zero Motorcycles website. They at least provided the railings here that they mount onto. The next place to store some items is you put the key under the seat, and then in one move you can remove the entire seat like that. And when you do, you realize there is a little bit of storage right down here to put some documents, maybe a can of Coke or Sprite or something back here. But the biggest storage is up here in the form of a frunk. You grab the key and you place it right here next to where you charge the motorcycle. And when you flip the key, you open up this compartment here. That's your frunk. It's a relatively large compartment. The opening of it is not that big. I don't know why they designed it like that. In future iterations of this, they should try to make the opening bigger, because that's really what matters, is how big of an item can you fit in here. You can't put a helmet or anything like that in there. Even if it had the amount of storage in it, you can't get it through the opening. Now, when I was doing the research, a couple of videos were saying that this is also a storage compartment, but one that you need Allen keys to access. They never showed it in their video, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go to the toolbox of the motorcycle, grab the Allen key, and unscrew this and see what's underneath it, so the mystery can be solved forever. So yeah, it seems like there is some sort of indentation into this compartment because there is no coolant, and usually this is the coolant reservoir on motorcycles. That's where it is. That's why when your motorcycle goes down, the first thing that cracks is usually the coolant reservoir, and that green fluid goes all over the place. But this one obviously has been converted to a vertical storage. Doesn't have a flat bottom. You have to probably put things in here and immediately let it off so it doesn't slide out. It's not really a practical compartment, but one that Zero didn't just know what to do with, and they left it blank. So you figure out what you want to do with this hole that's on the side of the motorcycle. Now, while we're up here discussing that side compartment, let's move up a couple of inches to the windscreen and talk about the mechanism that adjusts the height of this windscreen. I love it. I love non-powered mechanical ways to adjust this windscreen. I take that any day over wirings and switches and fuses, things that can go wrong or bad, or you have to spend hundreds of dollars fixing. I'll take this over those electronic solutions any day. Recently, I was reviewing the Ninja 1100 SX, and even though that was mechanic and I loved it, it was still a two-hand operation. With one hand, you had to hold the pedal down, and with the other hand, you had to actually physically grab the windscreen, pull it up or put it down. This one is mechanical, and it's also a one-hand operation. You simply grab this knob, which has these sharp bossings on it. You grab that, which is probably not as sharp when you're wearing your riding gloves, but with bare hands, it's pretty sharp. You grab that and you twist it, and that's how you adjust the windscreen height. It's a really great solution and matches the adventurous profile of this motorcycle. Now, a note about the design of this motorcycle is that I like the way this huge adventure bike looks more than Zero's smaller motorcycles like the SRS, the street one that I reviewed a couple weeks ago. That one has the exact same headlights in the front end, except on a much smaller motorcycle. And so proportionally, the headlight looks much bigger on that bike than it does on a relatively larger motorcycle. So overall, the proportions of this motorcycle look a little more attractive. I mean, they're both nice motorcycles. I like the way they both look, but this one is a lot more handsome, I think. Taller, the headlight is more proportional, and the fact that this giant windscreen exists here kind of makes the headlight look a little smaller, which I appreciate. Now, while we're up here, let's discuss a couple of pieces of hardware real quick. It's an adventure bike after all, and you expect some good stuff to be up here, including the calipers and the wheel size and the forks. The forks are Showa forks, which are adjustable at the top, and we're gonna see on our ride if they're pretty soft or if they really hurt you when you go over bumps. The J1 calipers, I've tried them on the SRS, the street version of the Zero motorcycles, and they are really fantastic. My experience with it has been good so far. And as for the wheels, these are 19-inch front wheels, similar to almost every other adventure bike I have seen. They all have front wheels be 19 inches and the rear wheel to be 17 inches. So that's what you find as far as stopping power and suspensions on this motorcycle. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. How far can this motorcycle go? How long does it take to charge the battery? How fast is the top speed of this bike? And what horsepower torque figure numbers do you get on this motor? Starting with over here, this huge battery that extends, I think, about 2.5 feet. It's a 17.3 kilowatt hour battery that takes about 12 hours to be charged if you plug it directly into the wall, and about 3 hours to be charged level 2 charging. So if you use an EV vehicle charger that some of you might have in your garage. And if you go level 3, which Zero says it's not available right now for Zero motorcycles, but will be available soon, you can decrease that time down to about an hour and a half, which would be impressive then. 1.5 hours to charge this motorcycle. That would be a good time, but 12 hours, 13 hours, just wall socket, that's only an overnight solution. If you want to plug it in, go to sleep, wake up the next day. It's not a solution for an adventure bike. You drive a couple hundred miles, you want to plug it in, have some lunch, plug it out again, and go on with your ride. You can't do that just yet. So that's the battery. As for the motor that's right behind me, this motor makes about 170 foot-pounds of torque, which is a weird figure because no motorcycle that I know makes that high of torque. Only electric bikes do. The way they measure the torque is peak torque. So for 1 millisecond, this motorcycle makes 170 foot-pounds of torque, and then it falls rapidly and flatlines at a much lower value. They never advertise that, but we will go on a ride and we'll see how easily this motorcycle pulls. So disregard the 170 foot-pounds of torque. It's just drama number. It's just point of advertisement. It's not a real number you can rely on every moment of your ride. But anyways, the horsepower figure is a little more appropriate and important here, and that's 100 horsepower, 75 kilowatts, which is equivalent to about 100 horsepower, which is a healthy figure, especially needed on this 540 some pound motorcycle. It's a really heavy bike, similar to its internal combustion engine equivalents, counterparts. It's heavy, so it needs a lot of power to move, and it does move. You'll see in the right portion, it moves pretty quickly. You can overtake cars no problem, and it gets you to a top speed of about 112 miles per hour. That's rated as kind of like a brief top speed. Then it drops down to a little over 100 miles an hour, which is, again, plenty for even freeway riding. You easily get a speeding ticket at those speeds anyway, so it's it's plenty. And as far as range goes on this motorcycle, the combination of this battery and this motor gets you, Zero advertises about 180 miles of range inner city, so if you don't take it too hard, and if you're constantly flooring it on the freeway commuting, you decrease that value down to a supposed 100 mile. Now, if you own this bike and you have more accurate numbers, leave them in the comment section so we actually know what the true values are, because, manufacturers always a little asterisk their numbers under standard pressure and good day with a standard temperature. You might be getting those mileages. If you have real legit numbers, leave them in the comment section. But anyways, that's the battery and this is the motor on this motorcycle. Now let's talk technology on this motorcycle, and you get a pretty healthy package. You get cruise control, you get grip warmers, you get traction control, you get ABS. You also get a nicely done 5.5-inch TFT screen, full color, and it's customizable through, I believe it's called the Next Gen app. It's a Zero app. You let me know if you have good or bad experience with that in the comment section. You also get reverse gear on this motorcycle, which is a must-have on a 540-some-pound motorcycle. You really need that in case you're in a downhill. You will never be able to pull that motorcycle back up. You can do that via some of the buttons and combination of those. You can activate the reverse gear. First, you put this motorcycle on the on mode, wait for the whole spiel and the startup animations to go away. Then you hold the key down, the mode button down. This menu pops up. Then you pick parking mode. And now the motorcycle is ready to go in the reverse gear. What you need to do is you need to, first of all, flip up the kickstand, then turn on the starter. And once you do that, it shows the reverse on the screen. And when it's showing reverse on the screen, moving the throttle actually makes the bike go into reverse instead of going forward. So that's how the reverse gear works. And it's a really welcomed feature on this motorcycle. One cool feature on this DSRX is the vehicle hold assist. Essentially what it is if you are behind a red light or you have to stop somewhere for an extended period of time, instead of having to continuously hold and squeeze the brake lever, you can do it once pretty hard, and then the message pops up on the screen telling you that the vehicle hold assist is now engaged. This holds the motorcycle in place like a handbrake essentially. And when you're ready to roll, you just flip open the throttle and the motorcycle disengages this function, which is a pretty cool feature on this bike. Now, one big controversial point about this motorcycle, something that Tesla's done, something that BMW has started doing with their cars, is pay per feature kind of option. Some people call it microtransactions. This was introduced in 2022 to Zero motorcycle lineup. If you want improvements done to your motorcycle via a software download, you can pay a couple hundred or a couple $1,000s to Zero, and you can download those features onto your motorcycle. The biggest part of controversy was that riders believed if your motorcycle already comes with certain features like grip warmer hardware already installed on your motorcycle, why do I have to pay another like $500 to activate my grip warmer subscription so I can use the hardware that's already on my motorcycle? Now, that no longer is the case. In 2025 models, most of those features are either installed or not installed on your motorcycle, and you pay or don't pay for them right off the bat, like any other motorcycle. There are certain other things that are behind the paywall, like abusing your battery. If you choose to make your battery charge faster and go longer beyond the capabilities of your motorcycle, then you can pay Zero to allow your motorcycle to go nuts. And then you can do those things at the cost of obviously, shortening your battery life. That's the type of pay where I'm okay with paying. Hey, I want to pay more to hurt my motorcycle. If you want to do that, by all means, Zero allows you to do that. But that's the controversial part about this motorcycle, and some other brands, and soon more brands probably join, is you can pay to improve your motorcycle via software updates, DLCs essentially, or microtransactions. But anyways, pretty healthy package. You get it all on this motorcycle, all the essentials, and I'm happy Zero has provided those on this motorcycle. And with all of that out of the way, I think you and I are ready to take this motorcycle out on the road and give it a try. But before we do that, a huge shout out to Everett Power Sports, my local Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, Husqvarna, Zero authorized dealer. They have everything you can ever imagine here on the dealership lot. Come check them out in Everett, Washington. Thanks to Everett Powersports, we got a chance to take a closer look at this DSRX, and this one is a demo model. You can come put as many miles as you want on it just to test it out and see if you fall in love with this motorcycle or not. Huge shout out to Everett Powersports, and with all of that, let's go and ride this motorcycle. All right, let's see. So we just flip that, wait for the screen animation to be completed. 95% battery. Range is 85 miles on 95%. We are on sport mode. Let's see if we hold this down. Canyon, Rain, Eco. Let's be on Eco for a while. Let's see how it goes. ABS is on, and we're ready to go. Okay, nice contrast between how serene and quiet this motorcycle is and how loud that R7 I believe was. Okay, let's see. Changing lanes. Wow. It gets tossed into corners so easily because, you know, there isn't a rotating mast, camshaft, and all that jazz inside this motorcycle, converting this bike to essentially a gyro, where it's stable because of all the lack of those circular motions within the body of this motorcycle. It's so easy to throw it into corners. Whoa! You gotta be careful with flicking that throttle open. Alright, I am fully protected from the wind, and I think this is actually the lowest. Well, no, it's hitting my eyes right now. This is the lowest setting. Let's bring it up a couple notches. Okay. Wow, that is a massive wall right in front of my face. Now I don't feel anything hitting my face, so that's nice. And I believe this range indicator is dynamic. It changes depending on what mode you put the motorcycle in and how easy or hard you take it. If you take it easy, you increase the range. Okay, so 12-volt battery, pretty easily accessible from where I'm sitting right now, so that's good. Cruise control. Let's see. Okay, let's hold it for a second. Okay, the cruise control reserve sign comes on, so it's ready to be activated. And I believe it gets activated once we're at a specific speed and we want it to stay there. We just have to click this button, I think. Whoa, I see what just happened. I was like, I did not tap on my brake. The regenerative brake is active. So when you let go of the throttle, it charges your motorcycle, the battery, by, you know, instead of braking, it slows the motorcycle down with engine braking, and in the process makes some electricity. Let's overtake this car. Let's see how easy it is. Oh yeah. Wow, it's pretty impressive getting a 530-pound motorcycle up to speed like that. It's pretty impressive, and that's on, you know, eco mode. See, the motorcycle is coming to a stop the moment I let go of the throttle. See, I'm not braking. The motorcycle is doing that using the electric motor and using that rotation, the momentum of the bike, to charge the battery up a little bit. What was I gonna do? Oh, I was gonna test the cruise control. Let's do that. So let's maybe go to 30 miles an hour. There you go. It's set on 32. Let's see, if I increase my speed, it breaks it back down to 32 and then maintains my speed at 32 knots. I mean, miles. Sorry, I'm also a pilot when I'm not reviewing motorcycles, and sometimes mix this up. 32 knots, 32 miles. Alright, a very smooth ride as expected from an electric motorcycle. It's very comfortable. Forgot my cruise control was on. I was almost ramming into the back of that Subaru. You know, Zero motorcycles no longer feel like the products of a startup company, because they're not a startup anymore. Sitting on this motorcycle feels no different than sitting on Harley Davidson Livewire. Doesn't feel any different than riding the GS 1250 or 1300 from BMW. It has become obviously not as big of a company as the rest of them, but it's no longer a sketch startup company. Okay, let's see. Woo. Okay, let's pull it out. Oh, is the grip warmer on? Oh, it is. See that sign with one curvy line through the handlebar means handlebar heater grip warmer is on level 1. There are multiple levels to pick from, but let me see if I can turn that off completely. Holding this mode button actually just changes the mode. Oh, now we're on rain. Oh yeah, okay, so when you hold it to the left, see now it's intermediate and intense grip warmer levels. Let's completely turn it off. Good, because it's like 90 degrees today. I don't think it's 90 degrees, but it's pretty warm today. Let's test the braking. I don't want to brake check the car with the car behind me, so maybe let's wait till we get to like a red light or something, and I'm gonna try to slam on my brakes and see how quickly and easily we come to a stop. How about that? Oh yeah, it's really hard to talk at the same time as riding this motorcycle because it doesn't pump you up. It doesn't make you a public speaker when you're sitting on it. It wants you to quiet down. It wants you to be serene, calm, enjoy the quiet and the silence. It's a good motorcycle for self-reflection if you want to take it out on the back roads and just, you know, be deep in your thoughts, reflect. But it sure has the performance of a sport bike. Like, it gets up to speed. Don't be fooled by how quiet it is. It can really get up to speed as fast as it wants. Okay, let's see. Oh, I completely forgot that I was supposed to slam on my brake here to test them. We will get on the freeway. Maybe when we get off the freeway on the on-ramp, off-ramp, I'll slam on the brakes to test them. The J1 brake calipers with the Bosch computer controlling them. Let's see, what else is there to try? We tried the windscreen, we rolled it up, works perfect. 12-volt battery there, in case you want to plug in some sort of GPS unit or whatnot and mount it right here. You can do that. With the mode selection, we changed the grip warmer setting, we changed the ride mode. Actually, speaking of ride mode, let's go to sport. Let's take a look at what sport feels like on this motorcycle. Come on, do I have to hold it to accept sport? Okay, there you go. A little bit of throttle was needed to make it go into sport. See, the range is all over the place. Now it says 88 miles, more than we started with. That has to be dynamic. It's looking at all kinds of factors to decide how many miles we have.
Okay, let's go over here. Let's go over here. It's a very weird feeling how easy it goes into the corners because of, again, that lack of gyroscopic precision that it has due to no rotating internal mass because it doesn't have an engine. Wow. It feels really nice. Ooh. What else? Cruise control, we tried that. It makes you feel really confident when taking corners because of how stable it feels. Oh yeah. It's pretty zippy. I'm sure it catches drivers by surprise, not hearing you at all, and all of a sudden you appear in front of them out of nowhere. Wow, at 70 miles an hour, it still accelerates like you have the bike kept in like first gear. Oh, look at that. I wonder if this motorcycle has a steering dampener, because I don't really want to accelerate too hard at high speeds and get a tank slapper, a death wobble. It's very easy to keep up with traffic. Let's set the motorcycle on 63. How do you increase the speed at which your cruise control keeps you at? I guess you can. You have to just accelerate and then re-hit the cruise control button if you want to adjust the speed of your cruise control. Otherwise, there is no plus or minus button that I can see here that adjusts your cruise control set speed. But that's okay. Okay, I almost don't even need to slam on my brakes because of the regenerative braking. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, oh wow, that is some nice brake. I think my suspension just bottomed out trying to brake there. It's pretty cool braking system. Not spongy at all. Let's try the rear. Oh yeah, wow, the rear brake is almost as strong as the front one. I gotta look more into this J1 brake system because not too familiar with their products, but I see them on Zero motorcycles and they're kind of alright. I'd like to know more about them because they're almost performing as good as any other Brembo I've tried, and they obviously don't have as much fame as Brembo brakes. So that's kind of nice. Zippy motorcycle for sure. Wow. Honestly, that's a cool sound in and of itself. That spooling up of the electric motor. That. Pretty cool. Let's, for the fun of it, just go salute to Costco's gas station here. Bye-bye, gas station. I didn't have to stop at you. Now, it is good that you don't have to deal with a gas station and paying, you know, 20 bucks to fill this tank up. But you do have to, you know, wait hours and hours and hours by the wall charging this.
And now, on to the ME score for the 2023 Zero DSRX. In the commuter category, you get lots of useful features. You get grip warmers, cruise control, various ride modes, reverse gear, plenty of onboard storage, and of course, unbeatable fuel and maintenance savings due to being electric. As for pricing, it's perhaps the biggest drawback here. $25,000 is a huge price tag for a motorcycle, period. However, many states in the US and some European countries offer tax breaks for the purchase of an electric vehicle, which might help lower the MSRP a little bit. Speaking of reliability and parts and labor availability, there are pros and cons when it comes to electric motorcycles. Pros are that there are fewer moving parts than gas bikes, and there are no engine oil, clutch, or transmission fluid to replace. The cons are that if something breaks, even a minor sensor or connector, it can sometimes disable the entire bike. Labor and parts availability is pretty good for US riders, as Zero is headquartered in California, but not so much for global riders. The DSRX gets a 14 out of 20. It would have gotten the perfect score if the price was lower and the number of dealerships and service centers worldwide was higher. Now onto the performance/dope factor category. The DSRX is equipped with ABS, preload knob for on-the-go adjustments, traction control, strong braking power thanks to the premium J1 calipers, and there is no transmission, making racing around the track much easier and quicker. It weighs 545 pounds, which for an adventure bike is alright. But we have to pick our poison here. Do we want to consider this an adventure bike and complain about its short range? Or do we want to call this a street commuter bike and complain about it being heavy? You choose. It's got a great amount of power. With 100 horsepower and 170 foot-pounds of torque, you get up to speed pretty quickly. As for the design choices and marketplace, the DSRX has comfortable and upright ergonomics, and wind protection is taken into consideration. It's got a clean and futuristic look that fits the premium electric image it carries. In 2023, the DSRX had 3 different trims and different colors for each trim, making it easy to pick the right combination of trim and color for yourself. It gets a 13.5 out of 20 for the overall performance and dope factor category. And it sits here on the list of other adventure bikes I have reviewed. Massive torque, buttery smooth power delivery, comfy ADV ergonomics, long travel suspensions, and a whisper quiet low maintenance operation. Plus, so many electronic features on this motorcycle make the Zero DSRX one of the best commuter bikes money can buy. But here is where Zero's marketing team took a wrong turn. Calling this an adventure motorcycle is like calling a Segway a cross-country tourer. The 100-mile range on a good day with tailwind and self-restraint just doesn't cut it. Range is the defining trait of an adventure bike. Without it, you're not adventuring, you're just stretching your lunch break. Labeling this bike ADV doesn't just miss the mark, it sends the wrong crowd knocking. Commuters who would love this bike for its comfort, tech, and zero gas bills won't look twice because they think it's made for camping in the Alps. Meanwhile, hardcore ADV riders will take one look, chuckle, roast it in online forums, and move on to their GS 1250s with its spare gas tank. Just be honest, call it what it is, a fantastic, futuristic, city-slaying commuter with off-road style. Shave a few grand off the price, market it to the right people, and then you'll see sales figures climb. Thanks for watching.